Remember a time when people could fix, grow, cook, and create almost anything with their own hands? Today, most of us rely on apps, supermarkets, and fast solutions. But we've lost a treasure trove of skills that used to define everyday life. In this video, we'll explore 15 forgotten abilities every man once mastered, but almost no one can do anymore, and why reclaiming even a few of them could change the way you live. Navigating without technology. There was a time when getting from A to B meant more than just following a blue line on a screen. Back then, finding your way was a skill, something learned, practiced, and even a little bit adventurous. Maybe you remember unfolding those massive road maps that never quite folded back the same way again, or using the stars to find direction on a camping trip. Men once took pride in knowing how to navigate, reading landmarks, judging distance, or simply trusting their sense of direction. It wasn't always perfect, but it gave you a sense of awareness, of truly knowing where you were. Today, GPS has made that almost unnecessary. Just type in the address and let the voice tell you when to turn. But as neuroscientist Eleanor Maguire found, relying too heavily on GPS can actually quiet the part of your brain that helps you build spatial memory. We've traded awareness for convenience. And maybe that's why so many of us can't quite remember how to get somewhere we've been a dozen times before. Cooking real meals. Not that long ago, cooking wasn't just something you did for fun, it was how you looked after yourself and the people you cared about. Every household had someone who knew how to turn simple ingredients into something warm, filling, and satisfying. Whether it was a backyard barbecue on a summer evening or a slow stew bubbling away on the stove, real cooking took time, attention, and love. These days, we've got meal delivery apps, frozen dinners, and takeaway on every corner. It's convenient, sure, but somewhere along the way, we lost the rhythm of the kitchen. Cooking teaches patience, creativity, and self-reliance. You learn to experiment, to adapt, and to make do with what you have. When I first started cooking for myself, it was chaos. Burnt pans, over-salted pasta, the lot. But slowly, it became a kind of therapy. There's something grounding about chopping vegetables to your favorite song or sharing a homemade meal with friends. Studies even show that people who cook regularly eat healthier and feel less stressed. Because in the end, knowing how to cook isn't just about food, it's about connection. Writing letters and communicating clearly. Once upon a time, a letter wasn't just words on a page, it was a piece of someone's mind, carefully shaped by thought and emotion. Men wrote to loved ones overseas, to friends they hadn't seen in years, or to colleagues they respected. Every sentence mattered because it took effort, finding the right words, the right tone, even the right paper. Today, our messages travel faster than ever, but they often say less. A thumbs-up emoji, a quick "yeah," or a half-thought text replaces what used to be genuine communication. Somewhere between instant replies and autocorrect, we lost the rhythm of reflection. Psychologist James Pennebaker once showed that expressive writing can lower stress and even improve memory. It helps us process what we feel and understand ourselves better. That's something no shortcut or voice note can do. I'm not saying we should all rush to buy fancy stationery again, but maybe it's worth slowing down. Writing a proper message, one that says what you really mean, might just bring back a bit of that lost human warmth. Defending themselves physically. There was a time when knowing how to defend yourself wasn't optional. It was part of growing up. Boys learned from their fathers, from the military, or just from getting knocked around a bit on the schoolyard. It wasn't about aggression, it was about confidence. You stood a little taller when you knew you could handle yourself if things ever turned rough. These days, most people spend more time sculpting their abs than learning how to throw a proper punch. Fitness has become about looks, not capability. Outside a few martial arts enthusiasts, the idea of real self-defense feels almost old-fashioned. I'm not saying everyone should learn to fight, But as psychologist Albert Bandura noted, belief in your physical competence builds confidence in every other area of life. Because real strength isn't about intimidation, it's about presence, the quiet certainty that you can stand your ground when it counts. Repairing clothes and gear. There was a time when everyone knew how to fix their clothes or gear. A loose button, a small tear, or worn-out boots didn't mean a trip to the store. It meant reaching for a needle, thread, or glue. Repairing wasn't just practical, it was part of a mindset, a way of valuing what you already owned. Fast fashion has changed all that. Disposable clothing, cheap gear, and endless shopping make mending feel almost quaint. Why so when you can simply replace? Sustainability researcher Kate Fletcher notes that repair adds value through care, not cost. When we mend what we have, we connect with our possessions differently. We become more resourceful, more mindful, and perhaps a little more patient. Repairing clothes and gear isn't just a skill, it's a statement. It tells the world that you notice, you care, and you refuse to throw away what can still serve you well. Playing an instrument. Remember the days when picking up a guitar at a party meant instant attention? Music wasn't background noise. It was a way to connect, to be part of something bigger. Many men could play at least a few chords, and those chords sparked conversations, laughter, and community. Now, our soundtracks are curated by Spotify, and campfire sing-alongs have largely disappeared. Entertainment is passive, and fewer people take the time to learn an instrument. But playing music is more than just amusement. It's a workout for the brain, a lift for the mood, and a bridge between people. Neuroscientist Daniel Levitin points out that music engages more areas of the brain than almost any other activity, boosting memory, creativity, and social bonds. Learning an instrument isn't just about talent, it's about connection, expression, and keeping a piece of culture alive that so many have forgotten. Building things with your hands. There was a time when making something with your hands wasn't a hobby, it was part of daily life. Woodworking, metalworking, even putting together furniture without swearing at the Allen wrench, these were everyday skills. You didn't just own things, you understood them because you'd touched every part, measured every joint, and felt how materials fit together. Nowadays, flat-pack furniture and prefabricated products dominate. Fewer people interact with raw materials, and with that comes a loss of what sociologist Richard Sennett calls tactile intelligence, the ability to sense, judge, and shape the world through your hands. Craftsmanship isn't about perfection. It's about care, patience, and understanding. When men lose that connection, they lose more than a skill. They lose a vital link to how humans have always related to their environment. Building with your hands is a reminder that the world responds when you engage with it directly. Fixing things at home. There was a time when a leaky tap or a squeaky door wasn't a reason to panic. It was a chance to roll up your sleeves. Most men could handle basic repairs, patching drywall, tightening a bolt, or keeping the family car running. These days, many people don't even own a simple toolkit. When something breaks, the first instinct is to search for a service online, rather than try it themselves. I'm not saying everyone should be a handyman, but there's a deep satisfaction in figuring things out on your own. Psychologists call it self-efficacy, the belief that you can tackle challenges and succeed. Fixing things at home used to give instant feedback, problem, solution, and confidence. That loop trained patience, creativity, and resilience. Now it's easier to call a contractor or replace items entirely, but the cost isn't just financial. Losing these skills chips away at self-reliance. Taking matters into your own hands, literally, reminds you that you're capable, resourceful, and connected to the world around you. Growing your own food. There was a time when growing your own food was simply part of life. Families cultivated gardens, planted vegetables, and harvested fruits. It wasn't just about sustenance, it was about connection, to the land, to the seasons, and to the effort that went into producing what you ate. Today, most of us live in cities with little or no garden space. Grocery stores make fresh food available year-round, and convenience often wins over effort. Growing your own vegetables or fruit seems like a luxury, something most people don't have time for. But there's more to it than practicality. Tending a garden teaches patience, observation, and care. You learn how plants respond to water, sun, and soil. You experience the satisfaction of harvesting something you nurtured from seed to table. Beyond the health benefits of fresh, chemical-free produce, it's a way to slow down, spend time outside, and reconnect with nature. Even a small balcony pot of tomatoes or herbs brings the same rewards. Growing your own food isn't just about saving money. It's about reclaiming a rhythm of life we've mostly forgotten. The hands that plant and water are the same hands that nurture a deeper understanding of the world around us. Knowing what to do in an emergency. Not so long ago, knowing what to do in an emergency was considered essential. Men learned basic first aid, CPR, and how to handle injuries. It wasn't just about medical training, it was about confidence and the ability to act when it mattered most. Today, many of us immediately reach for our phones and call emergency services, hoping someone else can solve the problem. While help is usually on the way, relying solely on others can leave us powerless in those crucial first moments. A scraped knee, a sudden collapse, or a serious cut can all become life-threatening if no one nearby knows what to do. Learning emergency skills isn't complicated. Simple knowledge, like how to perform CPR, stop bleeding, or treat shock, can make the difference between life and death. It builds self-reliance and a calm presence when chaos strikes. Psychologists note that having these skills also reduces panic and stress, allowing clear thinking under pressure. You don't need to be a doctor to save a life. Knowing basic emergency responses equips you with the power to act decisively, help someone in need, and feel capable when seconds truly matter. Herbal medicine. Long before pharmacies lined every street, people relied on nature to heal. Knowledge of which plants eased pain, reduced inflammation, or treated infections was passed down through generations. This wasn't just superstition, it was practical, effective, and sometimes life-saving. Today, most of us reach for pills or over-the-counter remedies, forgetting that the world around us holds powerful tools. Learning to make herbal teas, tinctures, and salves reconnects us with that ancestral knowledge and gives us a sense of self-reliance. It's not about rejecting modern medicine, but about adding another layer of care that empowers you to look after yourself and your family. I remember attending a local herbal workshop and being amazed at how simple ingredients, chamomile, calendula, or ginger, could be transformed into remedies that supported everyday health. Following proper guidance is key. Knowing which herbs are safe, how to prepare them, and how to store them ensures effectiveness and safety. Herbal medicine is more than just an alternative. It's a way to slow down, observe nature, and understand the healing potential of the plants around us. It's a skill worth reclaiming, one tincture at a time. Identifying plants and trees. There was a time when most people could identify the plants and trees around them. Knowing which leaves, bark, or berries were safe or dangerous was essential. It wasn't just about survival. It was about understanding the environment you lived in and how to use it wisely. Today, many of us struggle to recognize even the trees in our own backyard. We walk past shrubs and ferns without a second thought, often unaware of the value they might hold. Yet plants and trees can provide food, medicine, materials for shelter, clothing, tools, and even furniture. Identifying them is not just a skill, it's a gateway to resourcefulness and self-reliance. I once went bushwalking with an elder who could name every tree along the path and explain its uses. The knowledge was astonishing. Which leaves soothe a burn, which wood is strong enough for a bench, and which berries are edible. It reminded me that the natural world is a living toolbox, if you know how to read it. Being able to recognize and understand plants reconnects us to our environment, teaches patience, and provides a practical wisdom that is rarely passed down today. Preserving food. There was a time when preserving food was a basic skill in every household. Freezing wasn't the only option. People relied on salting, smoking, canning, and drying to make the most of their harvests. This wasn't just about storage. It was about resourcefulness and preparing for times when fresh food wasn't available. Today, most of us think little beyond tossing leftovers into the freezer. We take for granted that supermarkets will always have fresh produce, meat and dairy. But learning traditional preservation techniques reconnects us to our food and teaches patience, planning and respect for what we eat. Food preservation is more than just a skill, it's a mindset. It encourages sustainability, reduces waste, and allows you to make the most of what nature provides. Reclaiming this knowledge reminds us that good food, carefully prepared, can last longer than convenience ever could. Starting a fire. Lighting a fire might seem simple today. After all, most of us carry a lighter or matches. But try doing it in the rain, wind, or with damp wood, and suddenly it's a completely different challenge. Knowing how to start a fire in tough conditions used to be an essential skill. Men once relied on flint and steel, friction methods, or natural tinder to get flames going. It wasn't just for warmth, it was for cooking, signaling, and survival. The ability to create fire built confidence, problem-solving skills, and self-reliance. Practicing fire starting in different conditions teaches you to adapt, stay calm under pressure, and understand your environment. It's not about reckless adventure, it's about preparedness and competence. Mastering the art of fire connects us to generations before us who relied on this simple, vital skill, and proves that human ingenuity can light the way, even when the odds are against you. Butchering. Eating is something everyone does, but the way we source our meals has changed dramatically. Most of us grab pre-packaged meat from the supermarket or enjoy a meal at a restaurant. Few consider the full process of how meat reaches the table. Butchering was once an essential skill, whether it was processing farm animals, wild game, or fish. Knowing how to butcher isn't just about survival, it's about understanding where your food comes from and respecting the work involved. It teaches precision, patience, and responsibility. Modern life has made butchering almost invisible. Yet for anyone who eats meat, understanding the full journey from animal to plate is invaluable. It fosters self-reliance, reduces waste, and deepens appreciation for the food we often take for granted. Reclaiming the knowledge of butchering reconnects us with our ancestors, highlights the effort behind every meal, and reminds us that sometimes the most basic skills are also the most empowering. These 15 skills may seem old-fashioned, but they carry lessons in independence, creativity, and self-reliance that modern life often ignores. Relearning even one of them can change how you see the world and how you move through it. Which of these forgotten abilities will you try to master? Share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to explore more nostalgic skills on my channel. Until next time, keep discovering, creating, and staying capable.